But that is quite common now if we look at the abduction kind of scenario. So, a very important case. Had major effects on his life, I might say. Drove him to the brink of suicide because he got teased, his family got teased. He went up onto the moors, he was going to shoot himself. So bad was his life. Yeah? He got, the police force turned on him because he'd had all this attention. It was a nightmare time. And if you ask Alan now, he's been in over 50 documentaries. And he's become a sort of a minor celebrity in the area, and he's been over here and spoken. But if you ask Alan, would you wish that it had happened or not happened, Alan will say to you, I wish it had never happened to me. Because it didn't have many good effects on his life. Okay, early 80s. This is interesting. I'm just going to whiz past this one. Right, Metropolitan Police helicopter. He's flying along. Suddenly, they're at a relatively low altitude. They have what they think is a collision with another aircraft, a model aircraft. But it's not. It's a 3 to 4 foot disc that keeps manoeuvring around the helicopter. Not just once, several times. Just manoeuvring around the helicopter. They can't understand. It's not a model aircraft. It's manoeuvring around. It then goes down to the ground. And then suddenly they see it go vertical up into the air. Gone. At high speed. Okay, this case, direct to me. This is Stanley Osborne. He was a traffic officer. All they do is go up and down, pulling people on motorways, basically, or your highways. And basically, they're pulled over in a lay-by, him and his colleague. They've got the windows down, it's early hours in the morning, and then suddenly they see a 30-foot missile, literally missile-shaped object, on the other side of the carriageway. So literally where that wall is, just go total silence, about 30 feet off the ground, 30 foot long. Try explaining that one. This one's interesting because this is a radar confirmed case. This is what we look for, high quality cases. Radar confirmation. Unusually, they contact the police. Manchester Airport pick up a return. It's a static, not moving return. Kidsgrove Police, we've got this strange return. Can you send 2 police officers? Yeah, okay. They'd send them to a high vantage point. So they go up to this high vantage point called Mo Cup. And suddenly, when they get there, not expecting to find anything, sure enough, in the position on the radar, there is an object that is firing beams of light down to the ground. But look for how long? 2 hours. Anybody that thinks UFOs are transient, seconds like ghosts, no, it ain't. This can be hours, okay? Even their superintendents vouch for their authenticity as officers. Very rare in policing terms to have a senior officer do that. This one. This is now the highest sighting on the database, highest single case. 24 officers. It was 20, but I found 4 more. And this was largely over the Devon-Cornwall area when a triangular object was seen at low altitude. And basically, as it's manoeuvred all over the area, various officers from all over the place have rang in and said, we can see this strange thing. 24 officers in one case. This officer came to me. I guess a lot of people may know of Stonehenge in England, the famous ancient monument. Okay? Well, this guy, summer solstice, 1997, he's there with 11 other officers. He's doing security for the monument because a lot of people want to go there, see the sun come up. They're all stood around, the police officers, and then all of a sudden they see this object that's going like a castle wall, right angles. Nothing we can do still can make right angles like that. In silence, by the way. Next case. 2003, a little video clip, hopefully with a magic little play. Oh. It's not the light that you can see, by the way. That's off the traffic, car, camera, recording button. As it gets around this corner, keep your eye out. On your right-hand side for a white object. Oh, there it is. We think that's actually static. It's not moving. It's an optical illusion. It's above the hill. Okay? So the object is there. You can watch his speed dropping as he's thinking, what is this? Watch as he gets closer how it pulses a few times. Look, pulsing. Typical bright white light UFO. And then what happens? He's watching it, he's slowing. It's gone, it's there. Is it there, or is it gone? And you can see that there's cloud in the background. There's nothing obscuring that. And that literally disappears in front of him. It was there, very clear. That was examined by Jack Casher as part of the UFO Hunters documentary that I made with them. And they concluded that it's not an astronomical object and it was no aircraft. Genuine UFO, who knows, but it's definitely unknown. Oh, seen it again. Okay, this is interesting, another helicopter case. Now this is interesting for the simple reason that this is how the Ministry of Defence works. In all the many thousands of cases reported to the Ministry of Defence, according to them, not one case ever has been of defence interest. Not one. Not one, even though they've later admitted that in 1957 Milton Torres, flying a Super Sabre, an American pilot based in England, was ordered to fire his salvo of 24 rockets at them. According to them, not of defence interest. How ludicrous is that? Rendlesham Forest, nuclear weapons involved. Beams shone down into the weapons storage area. I know because I worked on those bases for 3 of my 6 years in the Air Force. But let's look at this. This is what's called a loose minute. This isn't the actual report. The reports come in, and then some Ministry of Defence official has raised this private little memo to say, will you have a look at this one for me, please, because it's a little bit different. And it's a helicopter. It's basically seen the sighting, corroborated. There's nothing on radar, but the helicopter crew have seen it. The next day, that's the response. Yes, with regards to your blah, 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 it's of no defence significance. Sorry, not on radar, clearly seen by a helicopter crew, things manoeuvring around in the sky. Hasn't that got to be of defence interest? Especially in light of terrorism, etc. Not to the MOD. They just dismiss it. And that's exactly what happens. Okay, this is a new case. That's all of the on-duty sightings that I'm going to look at. I'm now going to look at 3 off-duty sightings. Okay. This is new. That's coming to me, and it will be in my 8th report. I do an annual report. That's the only way I can do it. I do one a year, so I'm now on my 8th report. But this has come through, and I like this one for the simple reason it's daytime, summer. Absolutely not a cloud in the sky, and suddenly there's a silver sphere there. For 20 minutes, you're looking up. And then what does it do? It doesn't go left, it doesn't go right, it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down, it goes gone. That fascinates me. Okay, 1983. Now this one is an absolute great story. It's so bizarre that you couldn't even make it up. 2 special constables, they're officers that are not full-time, they're in a car. Okay? They're driving to work to come on at 10 o'clock. They're just about to get to work. They're on a 2-lane highway. It's dark. There's no other cars around. Did I mention green sphere? This green sphere there in the inside lane. And guess what pulls alongside? A green sphere. The size of a car pulls alongside their car, and for 200 meters they are, as you would be, and then it goes off across some fields. That guy still has post-traumatic stress because it's so weird. But you couldn't make that up, I don't think. That's the guy. And he was still shaken many years later when I met him. And that was about 6, 7 years ago. Okay, the last of my off-duty cases before I start to sum up. 1999. This is a good case. This is RUC, Royal Ulster Constabulary. In Ireland now they don't have that. They have a new organisation. When the Trouble's finished in Ireland, they've now got a unified police force. But in 1999, they still were the Royal Ulster Constabulary. And I count it because it's Northern Ireland classed as British. Okay? This is interesting because if you can imagine you're out with your wife driving along and suddenly you go around a bend and then suddenly there is a large bright light hovering 300 feet over the ground and it's huge. He stops his car. He says to his wife, you stay there. He's so entranced by this thing. he gets out and he walks on foot and he says to me, I considered getting my gun out because in that time Royal Ulster Constabulary all carried sidearms, even when they were off duty. Right? But he thought better of it, and he walked, and he stood underneath this thing.